What if the healing you're waiting for can only happen when you stop waiting for perfect? Perfect apology, perfect parent, perfect understanding, perfect closure, perfect forgiveness, perfect you. What if none of that is coming? What if it never was? What if that's exactly where your freedom lives? I'm Judi Bommarito, and this is healing card number 21, Imperfection, the first card in the Crone Phase. We've moved from the full moon of the mother phase into the waning moon of wisdom and clarity. And the first truth the Crone offers is this: nothing was perfect, nothing will be perfect, and you can heal anyway. You've done mother phase work. You released shame, learned to sit with discomfort, set boundaries, practice self-care, reclaimed your voice, built trust, understood your emotions, set intentions, examined your coping strategies, and practiced mindfulness. You've built capacity. You've learned to mother yourself. You can now hold complexity without shattering. The Crone Phase asks something different. What will you do with the wisdom you've earned? How will you use your clarity? And what are you ready to forgive? Not because it was okay, but because carrying it is costing you your life. The Crone doesn't deal in shoulds. She deals in what is. She doesn't wait for perfect conditions. She works with what's available. She doesn't need everything resolved. She makes peace with what remains unresolved. And her first lesson is brutal in its simplicity. Stop waiting for perfect. It's not coming. For years, I waited for the perfect moment of clarity with my mother. The moment she'd look at me and really see me. The moment she'd acknowledge what her illness had cost us both. The moment would have the conversation that would make everything make sense. I rehearsed it in my mind. What I'd say, what she'd say back, how we'd finally understand each other, how healing would feel when it was complete, perfect, resolved. She died in 2021. That moment never came. And I had a choice. Keep waiting for a perfect healing that required a conversation with a dead woman, or accept the imperfect healing available to me right now. Here's what I've learned. We're all waiting for some version of perfect that's blocking our actual healing. The perfect apology that explains everything. The perfect parent who finally gets it. The perfect understanding of why it happened. The perfect closure that ties it all up neatly. The perfect version of yourself that's healed enough to deserve peace. But healing doesn't wait for perfect. Healing happens in the messy middle, with the imperfect tools in the incomplete story, with the flawed people, including you.
Your parent was imperfect, deeply, profoundly, damagingly imperfect.
Maybe like mine, unable to show up because of mental illness. Maybe absent by choice. Maybe present but emotionally unreachable. Maybe trying their best with broken tools. Maybe not trying at all.
The maiden wants to understand why they were imperfect.
The mother wants to heal from their imperfection. The Crone says they were imperfect, full stop. That's the reality. Now what? This isn't about excusing harm. The Crone doesn't excuse. She sees clearly. She knows the difference between explanation and excuse. She can hold the truth that your parent was imperfect and that their imperfection hurt you without needing to resolve that tension. The fantasy says, if I can just understand enough, accept enough, forgive enough, then you'll become perfect retroactively. The past will make sense, The hurt will be justified. The pain will have meaning. The reality says they were imperfect. You were hurt. Both things are true. Neither negates the other. You can heal without them becoming perfect, even in your memory. Here's what nobody tells you about healing. It's messy.
Some days you feel like you've made peace with everything. Other days the anger returns, fresh as the day it was born.
Some moments you feel compassion for your parents. Other moments you feel rage. Some weeks you practice all your tools beautifully. Other weeks you revert to every old pattern you thought you'd released. This is normal. This is healing. This is how it actually works. You're not doing it wrong. You're doing it like a human. The fantasy of perfect healing says, once you've worked through something, it stays worked through. Once you've forgiven, you never feel angry again. Once you've released, it never comes back. Once you've healed, you're done. The reality of imperfect healing says healing is not linear. You'll revisit the same wounds at deeper levels. You'll feel feelings you thought you'd finished feeling. You'll have breakthrough insights and still struggle with basic boundaries. You'll know better and still not do better sometimes. And all of this is part of healing, not evidence that healing isn't working. The Crone Phase is about forgiveness, but not the kind you're imagining. Not, I forgive you and now we're good.
Not, I understand why you did it, so it's okay.
Not, I'm over it. Imperfect forgiveness says, I'm putting down this weight, not because you deserve my forgiveness, but because I deserve my freedom. I'm releasing you from the story where you're the villain and I'm the victim. Not because that story isn't true, but because I'm tired of living in it. Imperfect forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation. Doesn't require the other person to change, apologize, or even be alive.
Doesn't require you to feel warm feelings or want a relationship.
It just requires you stop letting their imperfection define your present. I don't have a perfect forgiveness story about my mother. Some days I feel tender toward her memory. Other days I feel angry about what she couldn't give me. I hold both. That's imperfect forgiveness, and it's real, which makes it more valuable than perfect forgiveness that exists only in fantasy.
And here's a part that might sting. You're imperfect too.
You're healing imperfectly. You're setting boundaries imperfectly. You're using your voice imperfectly. You're practicing self-care imperfectly. You're showing up for yourself and others imperfectly.
You've made mistakes in your healing journey.
You've hurt people while you were healing. You've overcorrected. You've been too harsh or too permissive. You've been the parent, partner, friend, or colleague you swore you'd never be. The crone doesn't gasp in horror at this revelation. She nods. Of course you are. You're human. You were raised by imperfect people in an imperfect world. You're doing your imperfect best with imperfect tools in imperfect circumstances. Self-forgiveness isn't about saying your mistakes don't matter. It's about saying they don't define you. You can acknowledge the harm you've caused and still not be fundamentally broken.
You can make amends where possible and move forward where it's not.
Waiting until you're perfect to give yourself peace is just another way to withhold love from yourself. There's a Japanese art form called Kintsugi, fixing broken pottery with gold, making the breaks part of the beauty rather than something to hide. Your story is Kintsugi. The breaks are real. The imperfections are visible, and that's where the gold goes, in the cracks, not despite them. My photographic series about my mother, it's not perfect. The images are raw, sometimes technically flawed, always emotionally complicated. Her notes are incomplete, sometimes incoherent, never fully explanatory. Our story has no resolution, no tidy ending, no moment where everything made sense. And that imperfection is what makes it true, what makes it relatable, what makes it healing, for me and for the people who see themselves in it. If I'd waited for the perfect series, the perfect understanding, the perfect story, I'd still be waiting. Instead, I offered what I had, an imperfect testimony to an imperfect relationship and the imperfect healing that emerged from it. Your story doesn't need to be perfect to be valuable. Your healing doesn't need to be complete to be real. You don't need to have it all figured out to help others. Perfection is sterile. Imperfection is human. And humans heal through connection with other humans, not through admiration of perfect beings who've transcended struggle.
When you stop waiting for perfect, everything opens up.
You can have the relationship that's available, not the one you wish existed. You can make the amends that are possible, not wait for the perfect words.
You can heal with the understanding you have, not wait for complete clarity.
You can forgive imperfectly, which is to say, actually forgive. You can show up as you are, not as you think you should be. Perfectionism is a prison disguised as standards.
It keeps you stuck, waiting, preparing, not quite ready.
It keeps you from starting because the conditions aren't perfect, from finishing because the result isn't perfect, from sharing because you are not perfect. Imperfection says, start messy, finish flawed, share before you're ready. Let people see the real you, cracks and all. This is what the crone knows. Perfection is the enemy of presence, of connection, of authenticity, of healing.
You can wait for perfect and miss your life.
Or you can work with imperfect and actually live. The next card is cultivate abundance. And here's the secret. Abundance can't flow into a space that demands perfection. Abundance requires acceptance of what is. Imperfection is the door that opens to abundance. Here's this week's practice, the imperfect breath. Do this with me right now, and then practice it 3 times a day this week. Step 1, place both hands over your heart. Step 2, take a deep breath in and silently say,
I am imperfect. Step 3, exhale slowly and say, and I am worthy. Step 4, breathe in, my healing is imperfect. Step 5, breathe out, and it is real.
Step 6, breathe in, my story is imperfect. Step 7, breathe out, and it is enough. That's it. 6 breaths, 3 statements of truth. Do this every time you catch yourself waiting for perfect before you give yourself permission to heal, to rest, to be at peace. Set 3 alarms on your phone this week labeled Imperfect Breath. When they sound, stop wherever you are and do this practice. In the car, at your desk, in line at the store. It takes 30 seconds. You're training yourself to accept imperfection as the path, not the obstacle. The Crone Phase has begun. The waning moon brings wisdom that can only be earned through living, through trying, failing, learning, and trying again, imperfectly. Card 21, imperfection is your entry point. It says, stop waiting for perfect conditions to heal. Stop waiting for perfect understanding to forgive. Stop waiting to be perfect before you give yourself peace. You are beautifully, perfectly imperfect. Your story is messy and real. Your healing is ongoing and non-linear. Your parent was flawed, and so are you. And all of this is exactly as it should be. The crone doesn't deal in fairy tales. She deals in truth. And the truth is, you can heal in the midst of imperfection. You can forgive without perfect resolution.
You can make peace with what was without pretending it was okay.
Are you ready to stop fighting? What becomes available when you accept what is instead of demanding what should be? Share in the comments one imperfect reality you're ready to accept. And if you're ready to continue this journey into wisdom, clarity, and forgiveness, subscribe now. Next week, card 22, cultivate abundance, learning that abundance flows when perfectionism releases its grip. The waning moon invites you to let go. Let go of perfect, let go of should, let go of the fantasy that keeps you from the reality where healing actually lives. Practice your imperfect breath 3 times today. Hands on your heart, breathe in perfection, breathe out worthiness. Welcome to the Crone Phase. She's been waiting for you. And she doesn't require you to be perfect to belong here. You're ready. Imperfectly, beautifully ready. Take good care.